What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs, episode 91. My name is Dylan. That's Mila, and that's Grant. And I'll start it off with second again, ole ole. A special shout out to Facundo, who decided not to make it on the pod because he's ducking us. I knew it. I knew he was ducking us. Once is a coincidence. Second is 2 times is not. I'm waiting for your response, Mr. Facundo. But anyways, we'll talk about that match. We'll talk about how Manchester City bested Arsenal in the first chance at the quadruple, which is now over, and Nico O'Reilly, who stole the show with 2 goals. Good game. Mila did a post-match reaction, which was very good, and I think it summarized all of the stuff that we'll talk about, but we'll go a little more in depth on the team structure and all that stuff. And then we'll talk about Chelsea. Sorry, Grant. But we'll start happy for you at least, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, whatever. We usually talk about United on this podcast. I don't want to talk about referees, so we're just not going to do it. This is a United free zone this week just because of that. Like, you know what? If you want to hear me rant, you can just go watch my 5 things because I think I do it justice. We talked about it, I think, refs last week with Mila, and then I think the week before was Grant. So they suck, and that's all. That's all. But that's what we're gonna get down to in this episode. So without further ado, let's kick on into it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs. I'm Dylan. They just got punched in the mouth. They didn't even know how to react.
That is one Derby Diamond.
I'm Mila. Do we want to do a little prediction? That was the last time they showed an initiative to go get a fucking player.
City is still alive here. Balotelli. Aguero.
I'm Grant. They're talking a lot about you 15. How will you respond 15?
We downgraded from Peppa. Do you know how absurd that is?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
Special shout out to you guys. 383 as of today. The goal is 500 before the World Cup. But if we can get there before then, that would be great. And if you aren't already subscribed and you're here at this point and you just watched me go through that very lengthy introduction, then you should subscribe because we do great work here every single week, every single day on all our social medias, which are across the bottom there and here on YouTube. So if you ain't, start doing it. Also, get involved in this stuff like the predickies where we give our predictions every week. And Mila just added 1 to his total. Grant, even though I said I'm not going to do it, I am going to do it. Mila now has 6 predickies and I have 7. And together we have 6-7. Mila also just got caught up because me and Grant took Kepa as our man of the match in the final.
Come on, the jinx worked today. It worked out.
It really
it's totally okay. Sometimes, with great power comes great responsibility. And
your
I
jinx
felt
is
like
one of a kind.
I had to take it upon me to do something. So, the 1-0 Arsenal with Havertz scoring, Kepa having a man of the match performance. I mean, fantastic. So I'll take this one. I'll take this one on the chin.
100%. It was needed. But I can't even remember the last time we had a predicky in general. So shout out to you, Mila. Getting it on your own team too. That hasn't been the
Keep
MO.
waiting, boys.
It'll happen. It'll happen at some point. There's only a handful of games left.
I got an idea which team will do it and the result.
Yeah, same. All right, let's move on to the games itself. Like we said, City, right to the back of the head of Arteta. Pep Guardiola was looking fantastic. I think he's just got some of the best fits in the game. Like it's never like a suit necessarily, but or like of recent note, it hasn't been the suits.
He's got it on.
He's got designer on it at most times.
And like that, he looked classier. They were essentially wearing the same thing, but it's what the title said. The master schools the apprentice. And that's been the MO for this entire relationship between Arteta and Pep. Big games, big moments. Pep has normally gotten it over the line. And in this one, it was no different. So, Mila, take us through kind of what you saw from Pep Guardiola in this one after, I think, what was a difficult week for Pep. Definitely got it right on the biggest final so far.
Yeah, I think the first thing we got to start with is deploying a 4-2-4 out of possession. Brilliant. And I know Grant's going to say that Chelsea did it before, but
United did too.
Yeah, exactly. I think the good teams know how to deal with Arsenal,
Mhm.
and it's by making them play. Pretty simple,
Yeah.
but it worked. Instead of letting Saliba and Gabriel just feast all game defensively, they had to make something happen from the back, and they struggled to do that. I think they had less than 20 progressive passes.
Yikes.
So in terms of that, yeah, like Rodri, Bernardo just controlled it really nicely. And I think for anyone that thought we were going to sit back like we did at the Emirates, I've been saying it since that game. That was a totally different scenario. We were finding our bearings at the beginning of the season, new team, young players. Now we're late in the season. And if anyone thought that we were going to sit back in a cup final against Arsenal, then that's ridiculous. And I'm going to say the same for the Etihad home game that's coming up. Like if they expect City to sit back, that is I don't get why you would think that. But yeah, this Arsenal team doesn't scare me, and I think that translates to the Pep's tactics, to Arsenal, to Chelsea's tactics, United's tactics when playing against them. Is that in open play they do not terrify anyone, so you can afford to put two guys in the midfield.
Mhm.
I mean, they looked like they had nothing. Outside of a couple chances where our line wasn't intact, but that was earlier in the game.
One chance.
One chance early in the
Triple
game.
save.
Yeah,
Once
outside of the
Nathan-
first 10 minutes.
Yeah, Nathan Ake and Kusanov have never played together in a big game like this. So outside of that
Ake.
chance, once they understood that, they really didn't get shit on him. Kusanov was eating up everything. Ake was strong in the air, on the ground, 50-50s, like everywhere. Just kind of what we were talking about, Gahey, just eating up space. That's the fastest I've seen him in a long time. So whatever pre-game team talk that Pep did for them to say, forget about the last couple weeks of fixtures, forget about the results, because this is one that we can control and go win. They went out and did that. And I said it in my reaction, but like every player on the pitch for us performed. And I think that's a stark contrast to when you look at that Arsenal team. Just in terms of the game, and then if you even want to look in terms of the title race and just the seeing out the end of the season, I think what I asked for in the team and from Pep is to go intimidate them and make it harder for them, and I think we did that. So the master got it perfect. He totally schooled Arteta, and I think doubt's creeping in, or at least I hope.
Yeah. No, it was really impressive. And I think for me, the one thing that we talked about the week prior was just overthinking it. And honestly, this just felt like you guys played your best 11, right? And the things that have worked this season, which is like the fullback pairing of O'Reilly and Nunes. And we'll talk about him a little later, but going back to that, Doku being a main star in this game, Cherky being that kind of creative force that you've been talking about for a week and a half now. And then Semenyo just not having to do all the crazy technical stuff, but just being direct and really getting at them. And on the other side of this coin, when I said like it's like the slapping in the back of the head, like that's what it felt like. And this hasn't just been, we've mentioned it now with the Chelsea and the United thing, but this is all Big 16. They haven't been able to pick up a result against Liverpool. They really didn't deserve a result against United. Chelsea, they barely scraped by, and they had an extra man at one point. They didn't beat City so far this season. The only team out of the top 6 traditionally that we can talk about is Spurs, and they're literally in a relegation scrap. So from that perspective, this year when we've talked to Facundo and all these guys, it's that they've beaten up on the bottom half of the table. So in games where the talent level, because honestly, if we're looking at the two sides, the team in first place in the league is not talent-wise anywhere near the City side, outside of one position group, which is the center backs. Everywhere else, I can make an argument that, that City have the better players.
Rice a better conversation. I would give it to City, but it's definitely you're talking
no conversation. There's no conversation. That entire midfield overhyped. Take all of those midfielders, put them in another team. Like I don't want to hear it. I don't want to.
I agree. But I think, you know what, to your point, Dylan, I know we'll get into Arsenal in a little bit, but Facundo would always complain to me about that. Like, they actually have had a very good record against the Big Six up until this season. And the reason they can't get over the line is losing to these shittier teams. So
Right.
I think that's where that sense of like pride is coming from, if you want to call it that, from the Arsenal fan base. Is this has been the desire to beat up on the bad teams, get the points we need, and win in that fashion, right? Inherently. So to Mila's point, the way that game went down over the course of 90 minutes, obviously not just the scoreline, that can definitely do damage. And I also agree with just the stark contrast. The 11 for City, like Mila said, you can't point out a bad performer. Worst performance would be a 7 out of 10, if, right? Like, everyone was so good on the day. And Arsenal, no one was good on the day. So, yeah, I think Pep got it spot on. He learned from his mistakes, right? If you even want to call it mistakes from a manager of his caliber. But yeah, absolute dominance. And in the neutral head over here, that can definitely shift the tides, I hope.
Can we talk about El Capitan real quick?
Yeah.
Not yours. Not yours. Not yours. I want to talk about their El Capitan, because this guy's been fucking shit all year. And in a cup final, he blanked again. And like, look, what is... I've heard the complaints all over the place. Well, he's got no help. Well, they got him help this year. He's still been shit. There's been no portion of his game that I feel has gotten better this year. And it's the only thing that's gotten better is his set piece technique. And this guy's supposed to be world class. That's what I hear every single year. And he was absolutely shown up by both of the City wingers. And I just don't know. I don't like, if I'm going to give Arteta any grace here, it's his best player is not very good.
I think he ran him into the ground. He already's had a major operation on his hamstring. The minutes at his age, I think people have been saying it for a while. I was an advocate. I don't know if we said it on here because we hate talking about the club, but he's played so many minutes. He plays every game for England. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's a matter of time, unfortunately. Like, I think he's ran into the ground, but yeah, his performances have been nowhere near the standard of a world-class winger. So I'll definitely agree on that. I do think he has been run into the ground, though.
No, it's one thing to say that a player's been run into the ground, because I don't disagree. Like, he's got a lot of minutes on his leg, but he provides nothing. Like, that game he provided.
Yeah, it hasn't been good. It has not been good for a long time.
Like, even if you want to talk about, like, if I'm going to compare him to another like England star boy, let's go with Palmer. At least in a game, I get at least one moment of individual brilliance where I'm like, okay, well, Palmer at least did something today. Yeah. Saka just kind of trots around, does nothing, and then I get the complaints that he's getting doubled or he has no help, and it's like, that's just not true. He's
lost
playing
his man for the second goal.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be traditionally a fullback, so I don't know. I just feel that I don't even know what to say about Arteta other than we knew what they were going to do, and Pep came in and essentially said, "All right, well, we know what you're going to do. Now I'm going to call your bluff. Can you do anything else?" And they were unable.
Do you think there's any argument for? I saw a tweet of the press and people. Someone said Raya's able to play that over the top and get us going. Do you think there's any validity to that? I mean, I still think you had the game plan spot on. Does that change anything that drastically? Because probably he can, but
they're asking Raya to be Ederson and to break the lines like that. That's not going to happen. He might be able to do it now and then, but he's not going to consistently be they had less than 20 progressive passes completed. Yeah. So to say that Raya is going to come in and change that is crazy to me. It was a whole team error, or just whole team failure.
Yeah, when you don't have midfielders that can show for the ball confidently, I mean, this is a direct result. I thought Zubimendi would play a big part in helping Rice in that aspect, and said it on the preview. Try and bully him, make him work hard. I mean, he gets bullied for the first goal. And then just throughout the game, you do not give him time. Don't let him settle into a game. And yeah, they had nothing. No one taking that responsibility. And we talked about it
on the preview. It would have been disingenuous for Arteta to play Raya. Now I understand, like, overarching, it would have made sense just because they haven't won a trophy And if I was a fan, I probably would have wanted him to play it. But from a professional standpoint, he got you there. You play him.
Yeah, Kepa got you there. I would have benched him, but again, it's because it's Kepa. Like the City situation is different. Trafford's a very competent goalkeeper. Everyone in that country knows what Kepa is capable of in a Carabao Cup final at that ground.
But this goes for every competition.
So that's what you get.
Whatever goalie gets you there always starts, and it would be
It's a final.
The thing is who is going to come in if no. That's just not a thing though.
Feelings. Who cares
for
Kepa's feelings?
No. Look, that's every final. There's a reason why Trafford started and not Donnarumma. This is every team. That's just you can't have backups and players on your team.
Is the FA Cup different?
Well, the FA Cup goalie is probably Raya.
No, I'm just saying because
this competition is not seen in the same light, and that's why you have to go with the guy that got you there, which is Kepa. They pay him money.
I hate unwritten rules like that. Fuck that. I'm sorry. I don't care. I get what you're saying, but it's Kepa.
No, imagine you and me. We do this podcast every single week, and we have a cup final preview. And I'm like, sorry, Grant, just can't have you on this week. I'm gonna go get Facundo for this one. It'd be pretty disrespectful. Like no, but that doesn't matter. Kepa got the final. The reason that he has that thing is because he's gotten them 2 finals. Like the Chelsea team, he did that final run. He makes a mistake and it's wrong. That's not why Arsenal lost this match.
Agreed.
And so, but he got them there. And from a professional standpoint, I don't blame Arteta for starting him. You have to. That's just how that works. And that's just a human being standpoint. Like we look at each other, we go, this is what you are here to do. You came into the club, you signed a transfer fee. I want you here for this tournament. Look, Raya could have started this game and they lose, and then you've just disrespected the shit out of your backup keeper. Let's just say that Raya gets hurt. Where's the confidence in your backup keeper if you're telling him that you just don't rate him like that?
I agree with your principle, but I just can't help but revert to it's Kepa. He would fuck up anyway.
Remove Kepa from the situation. Remove Kepa from
the situation. Case, like you can't. They had that conversation when they decided to sign Kepa to the fucking club.
That's
to make him the number 2. Like that conversation's done. You take.
He's never played a league game. They know he's not good enough.
If that was the case, they would have signed an English goalkeeper. Why would you just sign a Spanish goalkeeper to just have a Spanish goalkeeper? It doesn't make sense.
Loves donating to the Blueco Fund. It is what it is.
Look,
agree to disagree.
City have done this for years. United have done that for years. Chelsea have done that for years. That's just the respect that you pay to your trophies. Goalkeeper. I think you're just putting Kepa in. You're using Kepa's name, but that's not what
those clubs all serially win trophies. Do you think Crystal Palace do that? Is Benitez getting the cup final? No, Henderson's getting the cup final. So I think it depends on the circumstances, and maybe it's too big of Arsenal to go, oh yeah, no, we could still start. You're desperate for a trophy. You should do anything to win that trophy as Arsenal. And I think to win the trophy, to do everything you can to win the trophy, you put your best 11 out, not 10.
I mean, regardless, he still played it. It's not the game's not. It wasn't decided by Kepa. Is kind of my thing. Like he made an error, but still the play all leading up to that was a.
City would have won the game regardless, sure, but that opened the floodgates. So we can agree to disagree because I will not change.
They were sitting in their own third for 30 minutes.
I agree.
The floodgates were already open, and that
would have won it anyways.
Battering the door, like again to Dylan's point, like. Actually, to a different point, like who the fuck cares about Kepa or Arsenal in this sense? Like,
agreed.
I still think it would have had because of the game plan that Pep put out, and we saw it against Chelsea and with United. Yes. I still think Raya would have made a mistake, or Zubamendi, and it still would have ended the same way.
Yes,
him being there and having a mistake just gives an out for people because that's what it is. It's just an excuse. That's not how that match went. It literally was Pep slapping Arteta on the back of the head.
Yes.
Repeatedly, and then he kicked the shit out of an ad board, which is awesome.
And Kepa did a Kepa thing while we were at it. I agree.
Pep, from a managerial standpoint, just even as a rival fan, like he just produces moments, and he just had like
on purpose. That's it's genuine. That he went, oh, give me a red card, fuck it.
He's so genuine, and I think that we maybe sometimes. Yeah, we sometimes, to a certain extent, we dehumanize them because like they're just these people, but he is authentic, and I can respect that because he knows when he's right, he knows when he's wrong. He calls his bluff, right? He calls his own mistakes. Where I don't know, I looked at Arteta just shit his pants for the entire game and get all nervous and freaked out. He made no real change. Even the subs he made didn't impact. Fuck. What?
Pep one sub in the 90th minute, like Chad.
Yeah. If it was like going to a Halloween like party, like someone's dressed as Steve Jobs, but then Steve Jobs actually walked in. Like that's what it looked like because they were both wearing similar outfits. Like everything papered down to it. It literally was the title of this thing, which was The Master School's The Apprentice. Like, everything.
Chrysler looks like a phantom till the phantom.
The phantom walks in. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
and it was great. Mila, do you have anything else that you want to say on just like the basic structure or any of that stuff with City? Before we move.
There's not much more to say other than like our guys got it right and Arsenal
they got it wrong.
Fucking terrible. So bad.
The only player that
Gabriel
was good.
Jesus almost saved them. Let's talk about that.
Oh my god.
Let's start a dialogue.
I was gonna say the only player that I think could have walked out with his head really up high was Saliba. I thought he had a pretty good game, but it wasn't like from a defensive standpoint.
I think he got away with like manhandling Haaland a bit until Haaland decided, okay, I can match this. The ref's not going to call it.
Yeah,
and then that's where it kind of tilted in our favor against Saliba. I think he started the game really strong though. But
he just had a couple
Haaland started really weak.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But yeah, like once Haaland grew in the game, I don't think Saliba really did much. And again, like on the midfield topic, like I have to bring this up, but Bernardo dog walked them on occasion.
Yeah.
So I don't even want to hear midfield comparisons when Bernardo Silva is better than the midfield.
Yeah. No, honestly, I think that's a good segue into Arsenal and just talking about them as a whole. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do it, but it's in a twist in the tail light. Look, we talked about it last week. If the question was, is it over? And we said statistically, no, it's not. But for the tale to not be written in the stars, City needed to get this one right and needed to win this game for the mental aspects of the sport, which are real. And I think that if we had looked back on the Arsenal performances, while they've picked up points and performances, they haven't been good. And this felt like it was coming. A loss of this nature felt like it was coming. Like the only result, if you look back at the ones that they've picked up, barring the Leverkusen one, have been poor. Like they barely beat Mansfield. I think they barely beat Brighton. There was a couple other results there. Even the Everton one, like it took 2 90th minute goals to see it over the line.
Everton, a strong team.
Everton are a strong team. But this is to your point, Mila. This was how City got back into it, is you mentally beat them in this final. You showed them that we're going to slap you up. We're going to show you that you're weaker than you think you are. And now you can kind of puff your chest just a little bit during this stretch of games. And to your point about the points and all that stuff, Arsenal now have to prove it again.
Yeah, not only showing them that they're not as tough as they think they are, but showing the rest of the league. And I have no doubt that people saw that performance and saw the result of that. So people are going to know that there's ways to get at them, that they're vulnerable. They're going to see their facial reactions, watching the City players have to go lift the trophy again. I don't know. This has been the thing with them. This group of players, this manager, is that every time a little bit of adversity comes in, they fold. And this is why I'm completely confident that my team can go on and win it still up until we can no longer do it. Because I have seen nothing otherwise that tells me that Arsenal are these killers that are going to put it away and run off into the sunset. I've seen other teams do it. I've seen players single-handedly do it for other teams. And I don't think they have a single player on that team that can do that, let alone like the mentality as a unit. So yeah, they're welcome to prove me wrong, but we got a couple games.
I like that, Mila. And my take and stance, if you will, has always been I'm not confident enough in you guys or anyone else behind Arsenal throughout the season, but at this point, obviously, just you two. Man, that was pretty convincing showing, and I think you made a very important point that the rest of the league understands. And again, most of the league's not capable of putting the performance together that Man City put together. but in terms of principles, takeaways, etc., just understanding that this team is by no stretch bulletproof. There are ways to get at this team and with lesser quality to adapt what Pep did to an extent, right? And be able to cover up their strengths and really make them work for their. I mean, you put it in really simple terms earlier, Mila. You made them play. That's exactly what that 4-2-4 was. Play, go ahead. And they didn't have it. They didn't have anything there. And another great point you just made. Who on that team is going to take them there? Just drag them. No one's capable. They need the full team. They need the full team if they're going to win. And yeah, unfortunately, I just don't see it happening, bro. Arsenal are definitely still going to win.
Yeah, you keep that jinx alive.
I don't know, man. Just deep down, I know.
I think from the perspective of when you're playing in all comps, if you don't pick up these moral victories, that becomes taxing. Like you had to play an extra game, a high intensity game before an international break, and you still didn't see it over the line.
What international break? None of them are fucking going.
Well, yeah, but whatever. It's still like the principle of they have to sit with it, regardless of if they're going or not. They have to sit with that now for 2 weeks. Then go into a difficult stretch of games. They go to sport. They have Sporting, then they have Bournemouth, then they have you guys, right? Like it's a lot of games that come very fast when you're still playing in all comps, and that's been their biggest. We're high and mighty. We're playing in all comps. That can become a detriment. We've seen that with a bunch of teams this year very quickly. And while I don't think the UCL competition is anywhere near that, right? Like talent for talent, they're still going to be the best team on that side until they maybe play a Barca. This is a very big momentum switch. It feels like it. It felt like it. The way that they responded, the way that loss hit.
You just saw how Bournemouth played, Dylan. That they play very, very intense, a very high intensity game. Like Bournemouth, and again, not that they needed that 90 minutes at Wembley to go do this. They're going to go at Arsenal. Like at times in the game, they are going to press them very high. And Iraola probably took a look and go, might have a little go with that myself. You know what I mean? Fellow Spaniard as well. You know, why not? So, like you said, Dylan, all three comps still to play for. And to what Mila alluded to, the mentality of the team from his perspective. Yeah, that can definitely have an impact. So we'll see in 2 weeks. I think they have a layup draw for the FA Cup to ease their way back into it. But then, Champions League, Sporting are going to be up for it, regardless of if they can walk that or not. And it's going to be. We're going to see how they react. I can't wait.
The thing that honestly, the only thing they have going for them is obviously the gap, and the thing that would scare me if I was
Arsenal fan, 3 points.
It's not.
It's one game. It's really one game.
If you beat them,
it's one game if you guys are perfect.
Look, man.
It's one game if you guys are perfect.
Let me finish. In the complete opposite thinking of what I just said about Arsenal, I think these guys on my team are going to take that mentality and the momentum that we just got from that final and continue it out. Obviously, we can't guarantee that. But until we drop the points, I do think it is a 3-point gap. If Arsenal are looking at it, if we're looking at it, it's a 3-point gap. That Arsenal just need to drop one fucking game, 3 points, and we have a chance. Right now, that 3 points is really the only thing that's in their hands, is the way I'm looking at it. Everything else is in our hands because it's a game against them and a game in hand.
Yeah, I
we
just
can
don't
control
know.
Everything else. And to expect us to win everything, like, sure, it's a little bit crazy.
Do we expect?
Have we not seen it before?
No. We absolutely have. I'm curious to see if anyone uses the blueprint that we literally have all outlined. All of our teams have used.
Fuck the blueprint. Cherokee needs to start.
No, not City.
I don't know if it's a fitness. I know
the other teams in Arsenal's running. They need to use that blueprint because it clearly works. Like if you make Arsenal beat you, then you can have a game against them. But if you allow them to just hold the possession and do nothing, like they are okay with going horseshoe just back and forth and eventually beating you on a set piece.
The issue is, I think, is the fullbacks need to be able to take care of their wingers. I'm not saying their wingers are like phenomenal by any means, but we've seen it multiple times this season. Trossard will beat a man and score. He got completely shut down in that game, and I think that's part of the reason. Like we were talking shit on Saka too. Both those wingers being a non-factor and then having Gyökeres as your outlet, like that's why there was nothing going on. If we want to really be honest, like those guys were shut down, cut out of the game, and then you're asking Rice, Zubimendi, and well, it wasn't Eze, Havertz in the mid, like trying to create something. They're gonna have a little bit more help once Eze comes back, but I do think the focus should be just shutting out the outsides because that's where shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think that's a good transition.
They can't win a corner if they get shut out on the outside.
Fair enough. I mean, shutting them out on the outside is down to 2 players. We're going to highlight one of them because a young player who's the entire time on the podcast, we've just like start this guy, play this guy. He's awesome.
His entire career has been documented on our podcast from start till now.
It's just been this giant propaganda train, just Nico Riley, and 2 goals in a final as a left back. I don't care how it comes or how the goals end up in the back of the net. That's fucking cool. Like, it's a really cool story for a young guy who's obviously going to be in the England team come the World Cup. Just a transcendent year for himself, and some guy that we painted as, or Pep painted and City painted as a midfielder, and is now doing the same thing as Nunes, where he's playing that left back role, which he's been great at all year, and shut down who is considered the best right back in England by a lot of people. Not me, but a lot of people consider him the best
right winger. Oh, you said right back.
No, I said right winger, but he could be a right back.
Check the tape.
Right back, right wing, right 10.
More says.
We're gonna have a look.
Alex, clip that.
Yeah, I'm just a super big fan of Nico O'Reilly. I just think that his game is modern Pep. Does that make sense?
It's a nice combination of the 2 heads that we were stuck between. And I think that perfectly kind of encapsulates that performance. I saw a lot of other people just talk about it in their breakdowns, but I think a lot of this season we've been trying to match the physicality and been throwing away the identity of our club in the past decade, the fast-paced technical footy. And in this final, it was just the perfect mesh. I think a lot of people are focused on the fact that we were just pinging the ball around a lot more, and it was more fluid, and the movement was better. But I do think in that sense, that's just not giving enough credit to the physicality that was on display too. I thought we matched Arsenal physically. Man for man, maybe even better. And a player like Nico O'Reilly just summarizes all of that for both of his goals. The effort and the hard work, like, that should be a given. Everything that Arsenal is built upon, this team, that people say make them good, like, that should be a given for top teams. You should work hard. You should be physical. The technical stuff is where I think the really good teams come into play. And that's why I struggled to call Arsenal one of the really good teams, regardless of their performances in the UCL or the Premier League standings. But like you were saying, this has all I took a long way around to get here. But Nico O'Reilly is the culmination of both of those aspects. He is, the modern Pep player.
I think part of what made those City teams so great was there was always some form of the academy playing. And obviously with Foden's inconsistent play, like, I think it's gone under the radar that O'Reilly is an academy player. And like, he is built through the City system. And for a player where the spotlight has normally been for City buying players, for the spotlight to be on an academy player in a final says a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's always been like big signings.
Yeah. Even more into that, like, we get shtick all the time for buying young players at like 14, 13, 15, whatever. This is a Manchester kid. Like, this meant more to the fans, to him, I'm sure, and it was an awesome thing to see. And just the way he carries himself, um, it's very humble, and he just works to get better and better, and you can clearly see that he's getting better and better. I think Holland talked about it post game, and he was just like, "We just got introduced to this guy, and he actually gets better every week. It's not an exaggeration, but he continues to improve." And like you were saying, like we've seen him in midfield, now we've seen him in left back, and he excels in both roles. And to be fair to him, this is why he has an England call up a year and a half into his career as a senior.
I mean, look, there's a good shot. There's a good shot that he starts. Like
start.
he's going to be in that conversation. I think that just speaks to his talent level. I mean, look, if you can play for Pep Guardiola week in, week out, like you're top. And for City to get this guy and honestly just have him ascend to this level just shows kind of maybe more of just the project the City have built, and still having pipelines for young players like this to still make it through, which I think has been a really silly. That's always been a really silly thing to me, that City blocked pipelines and they don't have any room for youngsters. Like that's just not true. Like I just think that young players, if they're good enough, they will make it to that level.
That's the thing. We don't have, and I think we've talked about it a lot on the pod, but we don't have the time or the patience to actually build up someone.
Yeah.
So any of those diamonds in the rough, those do not fly at City.
You
But
tried. We just saw it with Bob, right?
Yeah.
Like you really tried. Like he was in the team. Obviously, a huge
That-
injury.
that's a
early
different
on.
one in my opinion, because he was sticking out among the bunch, but that injury just set him back, and we don't
Yeah,
have the
sure.
time exactly like to bring him
I mean,
back.
Rico Lewis has been in the team for a few years. Like it's been a thing with City. Have McAtee. Maybe he didn't get as much game time, but there's always been someone there. I think my only real point on that was this is absolutely an accumulation of the work Pep's done. Obviously, there's more people involved, but that is definitely something early on to where obviously coming from Barcelona, like having that footballing identity, and you can't just change that overnight in regards to the academy, but over time you're starting to see all these guys, whether they've been there for 2-3 years or they've been there for a long time. I mean, even those rentals, if you will, like just off the top of my head, like a Morgan Rogers, Lavia, Olise, like a lot of these guys spent important formative years at that academy, and they're all showing very high levels. So I think it's just a testament to the work that's been put in over time, because that's not something that happens overnight. That does take time, and then you're really seeing it now. All these rejects, like no one knew about Morgan Rogers 3 years ago. He was at Middlesbrough and wasn't enough at City. He couldn't make it, and he got sold. Like it's crazy.
Agreed. Anything else that we want to say on Nico O'Reilly before we transition to another team?
Salute, brother.
Salute. All right, let's get negative, because this is where this part of the show is going to get negative. I there's no way else it goes.
All right.
Alrighty, let's do it. Let's do it. Chelsea are in a bit of a free fall. I think we talked about Aston Villa being in one maybe last week or a couple weeks prior.
Liverpool
But
are in one too, bro. It's going around.
Yeah, it's just been a tough go for everyone involved at Chelsea, and more importantly, the fans have gotten the most of it. What is it? 1 win in 6?
I don't even fucking know anymore.
I think it's 1 win in 6, but in the opposite fashion of like City had a bad week, they bounced back. This was like you have a bad week and then you go and put salt directly in the wound.
Yeah, no, like midweek was like, the nail in the coffin, and then that was like the gunfire at the coffin.
Yeah.
That's
what
that game was.
From close range.
I mean, yeah, just horse was already dead. Like there was no need for that. That's what that game was.
In the sense of like from a player perspective as well as the manager, it just felt like there wasn't anything energy wise.
They did not give a fuck.
They could not have
me.
Like there was been
they gave a shit. No,
like there's been so much bad nature, and then there's been all this stuff just in the media, and then it felt that was a moment that felt like a United moment from last year, where it's just like you've got all this noise and so much noise, and then all of a sudden it comes to this crescendo right at the worst time possible. Which I actually kind of want at the very end of this. I want you to. I'll ask you a question, but let's talk about the game itself. Did you see anything from Chelsea in this one?
I have one positive for you. Esteval. He's been out for over a month. and nursing a hamstring injury, and immediately comes on. It's like, oh, we haven't had that out wide for 2 months.
Mhm.
I mean, it was night and day for an 18-year-old kid that is just coming back off injury, and he got like a 20-minute cameo. So I think that, and I've been saying this in a lot of my videos lately, that speaks volumes. Like, but every time it's like, well, that sums it up perfectly. Hato was good at center back, cool. It was a disaster, man. Everyone was bad for the most part. I mean, Robert Sanchez is absolutely shot. His confidence is gone. So all that work we did to get Robert Sanchez to become a borderline world-class keeper on form is completely gone. So we'll start there. Moises Caicedo,
Yeah.
I thought I hold him in a very high regard. He was awful. Lavia was all right, but not at his best. I don't even want to talk about that. The center backs, I mean, Hato was good, like I said. Fofana was disgraceful again. I sure hope a team in France can scrape up enough money to get him. I really hope that happens. I can't do that. Palmer looked all right physically, and that's where my head's at now. I don't even care anymore about this season. Is Palmer okay physically? Can he get back to a level that he was at previously? And I'm seeing enough signs where it's like, yeah, maybe he can. Those are the positives I'm scraping for. We know what our wingers look like. Joao Pedro, isolated, not great. And we bring on fucking Tosin in the lap, down 3-0. I mean, like, I'm just sitting there watching these goals happen. I'm like, yep, Beto, yeah, great goal. Beto, great goal. Like, you have to double, like, yeah, that just happened.
My question
Beto
about
brace.
the complaining about the substitutions is like, what exactly would you
Oh,
have
no,
done
no.
differently? Like,
No.
I think
There's
this
nothing
is
to
the
do
problem.
differently. It just sums up where we are.
Yes. Okay.
Like,
I
you
mean-
just see those two coming on. Great.
It's more of just an indictment on the board because the signing that you made to deal with some of that defensive pressure was to bring in Sarr, and he did not play. Right? You still put in Toast in that situation. And this was like the biggest concern when we talked about them bringing him in was like, what's the point? Like, he's just not going to play because no manager is in their right mind is going to put someone in a spot where they're just not going to succeed. Yeah. And it's just everything that has in the timeline that could have gone wrong has currently gone wrong.
Quick. Very
But
quick.
but at the same time, we talked about it being a deck of cards, and we knew that house was eventually going to fall.
I said it when I was in Mila's chair.
Yeah.
Before Maresca even got sacked, I was like, if we do this, we are setting ourselves back at least 2 years. And then I think the next episode I said, we'll get into all that later. But yeah, that we had that discussion about Chiquette. Oh, should they bring him in? Is he ready now? And oh, you're bringing in Sarr. That means he's the guy ready now. Not playing. Achimpong. Why? What are we doing? Like, this guy could have been playing at Bayern Munich on loan or Crystal Palace on loan. Would have been a great loan. Why isn't he playing? Because you're seeing these same center backs make even more mistakes. So, I mean, I made that point at the end of my video. Just let the kids play at this point.
Yep.
I do not need to see Wesley Fofana make another error. I don't need to see that. Tosin, definitely don't need to see that again. Batty is shit. Like, we know these guys are all shit. So, yeah, sure. Hato, you can play center back. I'd like to see him at left back a bit too, because Kukureya's performance have been dropping ever since we lost our previous manager. But let these kids play. The kids that we're talking about, the kids we're trying to build up their value. Why don't we see what they're capable of? Because what Rosinha has done is platform these players to show their colors, how shit they are. And a lot of them have taken the opportunity. So compared to our previous situation where a lot of those frailties in the squad were covered up, they're being laid out dry for everyone to see. So maybe you could take a silver lining in that, but I'm not happy with that because this very same team was putting in very convincing performances not too long ago. And all of a sudden,
but then
like
it
you
fell
said,
apart because your manager asked for better. So
Correct.
if this is him being proactive and showing his work for his math problem to the teacher, then I can get it from that sense, and I like that you put it that way as like maybe a silver lining. And to that point too, is like, I don't know if you can really afford to play the young guys if that's the case, especially with this ban incoming. Like, you need to sell players, the ones that you don't want to get stuck here for a while. And most of these guys are on long contracts, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Death row.
So it's like you're gonna have to get them out and just get money for them, but you're gonna need to play them if you want them to get sold.
Yeah, play them. Play them.
No, the
Yeah.
young guys are the ones you're gonna be building off of. You want to get.
So you're
if
saying
they-
we got to put Fofana on the shop window.
You have to, yeah, and they need to either. I mean, obviously they can tank their value doing that, but like no one's gonna buy a guy that's not playing.
Right.
So
No,
if
I
those
get
are
it.
the
I
guys
get
that
it.
you want out the club, then they cannot be rotting on the bench.
The
'cause
problem
then no
is
one's
this is
playing.
how our club operates. You know what I mean? The fact that we are having such a ridiculous conversation is their fault. Obviously, we'll get into that in a little bit, but just last real thing on that game, at no point was I thinking, oh, we're going to get a goal here. It was a horrific performance from start to finish, and I think the most damning thing is just how wide open we are at all times. It's unbelievable how little defending is being done as a unit. And again, we looked fine defensively, and it's the same players. Obviously, we're missing a huge piece in the back, but even still, it was covered up to an extent. This is just embarrassing how easy it is to score a goal against us.
Yeah, usually I'm a big XG guy. This, when you're looking at the XG stats, it is less on the amount of XG that you're giving up, because you guys have won the XG battle, I think, over the course of this losing stretch.
Yeah, against PSG on aggregate, we won the XG battle.
But it's not that you guys are. It's you guys are giving up very little chances, but they're all
good ones.
big chances, right? And
Yeah.
and so you maybe lose, like they only had 1.18, but on 10 shots, that's for a team like Everton, like you're asking for it a little bit.
Yeah, that Njai shot.
Yeah.
At that
He's
point,
so
because I was
wicked, man.
already so done with it, like you just as top ends as it could possibly be ridiculous.
Yeah, and it only gets more difficult from here. So the last thing for this free fall section, and because I was trying to toy with it in my mind with this Chelsea team, is did this international break come at a good time for Chelsea?
For me,
Like a
I don't have to
little
see it
bit.
for 2 weeks.
Obviously, from the fans' perspective, but from the team perspective, like does this give them a little bit of a reset to kind of readjust in your brain? Like
go
at the
spend 2
Coke
weeks. Go spend 2 weeks with competent footballers, and then come back.
And then come back.
with a competent manager, and come back. And
That was
people
my
always
thought.
talked about it under Maresca, like actual Chelsea fans saying like, "Oh, we only played good when the players ignored his instructions." Go do that. 'Cause I whatever I'm watching, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah. No, it's tough sledding. I was thinking in my head that this came at a really good time. My battery died.
Absolutely.
But it came at a really good time because you guys needed a reset, because when it gets this bad, like the best thing that can happen for you is all the media and all that stuff just stops for half a tick, which it might not.
Yeah, bro. It's like your it's like when your router goes out, but just unplug it.
Yeah,
plug it
but
back
yeah,
in.
restart that sucker.
We're
So
good.
for your mental health sake, because you are my friend, I'd hope that you guys do figure it out, and also because I kind of want Liverpool not to get UCL.
That's the best part.
That's the
We're
silver
1
lining for
point off of a UCL spot.
Yeah,
State of this fucking UCL race is truly embarrassing.
The only scary part from a Chelsea and Liverpool perspective, if I was looking at it, would be that the teams behind me are right there now.
Yeah,
Like
agreed.
Everton and Brentford are right there, and they're playing much more consistent football. We'll talk about them at the end of the season, but Pickford deserves shouts for being one of the best keepers in the league again. Like
He's
it's
nuts.
ridiculous.
He's
You said he's Lobos?
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm a smart
All right.
guy.
Grant, you wanted to pull up your takes about this team and this project. So now we're going to do it. We're titling it Project Nightmare, but if we had gone back to the start of this podcast, and even in particularly after the Club World Cup, I don't think we were saying that stuff. So let's walk through what originally happened.
Yeah,
Or
well, if we
your
want to go
original
back
thoughts.
to that, I saw this graph a day ago, and it was like the optimism chart for every team coming into this season, and we were at 98% of fans were optimistic going into this season. Me being one of them, I was very optimistic, and I am on the record on this show saying, no matter what, this project would boom. There's too much talent to fail. And I got it wrong. And the main reason I think we've gotten it wrong is, as we've alluded to many times on this show, the people running the club. I got that sense of confidence when we got Maresca in the job. You started to see the blueprint. You started to see good players playing well, improving. And then you saw the culmination of that, or I think it's better to say it was more of a sneak preview of what they were capable of. We're able to dismantle PSG. And that's really a glimpse of, oh, maybe we have something here. Maybe we can build something special. I thought we had the right guy in charge, and it's been 3 months of cope, but ever since we got rid of him, I've just had that pit in my stomach of we've absolutely fucked this thing over so badly. And yeah, I think it's I said it when he got sacked. I thought we went back to the Pochettino days, but we might be creeping into Potter territory. And we're going backwards. We are currently going backwards. All I see is media briefs of Rosignor and the board talking every day. Lord knows what those conversations sound like. But to keep briefing about the summer window, and mind you, we were out of the Champions League for 2 years. Oh, we can't get Champions League targets, all this, all that. Not only do we make Champions League, we win the Club World Cup. Oh, we're the world champions. We didn't do anything with that in regards to the transfer window.
Mm-hmm.
We signed Caicedo when we finished 12th. Like, we've done way more when we were in mud than what we've done now. And the past 2 summer transfer windows reflect that. So to brief that we're going to back this manager in the summer when the manager previous wasn't backed after the work he did, what are we doing? It's petty, and they're taking things personal. I'm starting to take their work personal because they're single-handedly sabotaging the club in my eyes. And I'm so glad that protest was organized when we are going to be there. I will gladly participate. Brilliant. It's truly awful what they've done to this club and the direction they are taking it. Because at the time, it made sense. You know, you got to rebuild. You have an aging core. Yeah, go get a bunch of young players, low wages. You got to bump up the good ones in due time, all that. Once you get to that stage where some of these players have developed, some haven't made it, at what point do we realize, oh, we are not that far away from seriously competing for a long time with this group of players and manager? But instead decide, no, we're the ones that know what we're doing. You're gone, and we're going to get another manager just to prove it. Well, congrats. I mean, I said it on my 5 things videos, but if we don't finish in a Champions League spot, it's absolutely what they deserve. It's absolutely what this group deserves for their work, because their work is shit. I think we're all seeing it now. I think everyone can see it now. Morons. Absolute idiots. I've got a few more words, but I will not say them on camera.
Smart man. Mila, I think you've been skeptical of the project since the start. So do you have any thoughts?
This is just what happens when you run it like a business. And I think that's what we've been saying from the very beginning, is if you want to run it like a business, you have to be happy with the results of the business. Sure, maybe they can sell players, but what does it matter? If they're appealing to like the technical shareholders of the club, then that's a problem. Because the only shareholders that should matter in the larger scope of things is the fans, the people that go support the club daily. They live the club. And like, if you have Grant, not saying Grant is like a bad fan, just saying Grant is a newer fan to the club, like he's already this passionate about it and feels this like let down by the board and the leadership of the club. Like, I can only imagine what a 50-year supporting Chelsea fan can feel about it. So if this is a general consensus around the fans, then it's clear that they've got it very wrong.
When's the last time you saw a general consensus with Chelsea fans?
It's a good point.
That's a great point.
I mean,
and I think you've brought it up
from
multiple
all
times, is that this
sections.
is like the only thing that you guys can unite on. And sometimes that does a lot of good for the club, but it usually is when outside forces are attacking your club and you can unite and just move forward as a full entity. But this is causing a split between the common man, the fan, and the people that own the club. That's not good.
It's private equity. It's private equity.
There's a major rift
do-
between the expectations from the fans too and what the club clearly sees itself as. Are you Brighton or are you trying to be Chelsea?
We operate like Brighton, and we think we can still be Chelsea while operating like that. It's a great way to put it. And I also do, again, I've done it before, but we got to clear Todd Bowley's name. He won't be on the thumbnail, obviously, but this is not his work. I just get annoyed when I see his picture on every news graphic when he's not even the guy in charge of the club. He was in charge for one window, and it's been Egbali and his group ever since. So it is those idiots who have those board members on 6-year contracts. But yeah, I guess you can call it cope in hindsight, but I was always of the thought, because again, this isn't a new perspective from you. You've been saying this is how it's going to go. I always thought, like, surely you would understand that they're ready to go. I didn't think it was that foreign of a concept to realize, oh, all those young players are getting better now. It's time to go win. No, we're a year away from a year away still, and it's disgraceful, because when I think of what to look forward to, Quendo's coming in. He's 18 years old. I mean, like, that's the problem. That's the problem. Yep. And I have no confidence in them addressing this, because, in my opinion, if you address the problems in the team, which, in my opinion, obviously you need a left winger that can play week in, week out, and you need to get rid of all those center backs and bring in new ones. There's no chance that they get that right. There is no chance this group of directors get this right. So I really don't have hope. That and the left winger, but goalkeeper at this point too. They're not going to get it right. So I'm stuck for looking forward to, let's see, the 27-28 season. That's the one. Yeah. That's the one we're going to compete for the title in now, because of these idiots.
I think just looking back from where we all had Chelsea finishing in our previews, I think I had
second.
Yeah. And
I'm third.
That was just a sentiment on the talent. And I think that maybe was bad in hindsight, just some Club World Cup tax. But this whole project is based around volatility, in the sense of you are only bringing in young guys, and young guys are pretty volatile for the most part. Like, asking young players to be good week in, week out is not okay. Like, that's not how that works. There's no club on planet Earth that does that. And the guys that are good week in, week out cost $300 million USD.
PSG have a younger team than us. Their age is younger. But
right,
they have senior presence.
But they have senior presence. But even
they have a Fabian Ruiz.
Like,
there's some good young players. Most of them know, though, is I think what you're saying. Like,
no. Look, young players can be good in spurts, but asking them to be good all season long is just not smart. And it's also, to your point about Saka, if you do ask them to be good for that long, you could potentially get them hurt. Because no child can go from being a child to playing with adults and just immediately hit that ground running. There is like one player on planet Earth that is doing that week in, week out right now, and he's like the next coming of Messi, right? So, like, you have ups and downs periods when they're that young. And like, even we were just talking about Nico O'Reilly, that he's 21. Your project is based around 20, like, younger than that. That's crazy. And the idea that they are continuing to stick and not twist from that ideology,
it's crazy.
That's where honestly, it wasn't an experiment, that it was just like, okay, like, this is so crazy that maybe it will work, that it now has turned sour. Because honestly, the thing that I thought was going to make it work was the idea that you guys were just buying everything under the sun. But now the transfer strategy is to buy young players.
Opportunities.
Every young player under the sun.
The issue is you buy those older players and they don't pan out, and you cannot recoup on them. And that's the way they view the game. So if the game is viewed in money, there's no There's no
Shit,
plus to buying an older player.
They're bad at that game too because they just
Because-
got a sponsor. They haven't had a permanent
Yeah.
sponsor, and they're talking about their businessmen where they're pretty shitty at that too. Clearly, so I mean, it's crazy.
I think because it's a good like kind of segue. Who have been the best transfers this year?
João Pedro, Esteval. That's it.
But not for Chelsea, just in the league in
Okay.
general. Who have been the best signings? It's
Mm.
like Donnarumma, a guy like
Semenyo.
Cunha,
Not
Semenyo.
20-year-olds.
Yeah, the point is that they're all older and have experience and have played at this
Cherokee.
level. Cherokee,
Yeah.
he's this is honestly Cherokee would have been a guy that I would have looked at Chelsea's project and gone like that
Bro,
could have worked.
we were going to sign him 2 years ago, but we thought, you know what? We're going to sign Chukwuemeka or some, you know what I mean? Like they're just picking names out of the hat. And that's the crazy part. Some of the names that we were very close to, if we had gotten them, we would be having a very different conversation because it could have been
That's
a
the game.
Hoyson, Olise, Ekatike. But like you just said, Mila, that is the game they are knowingly playing.
United
game
have
they're
like
knowingly
4 of our
playing.
targets that we were close to. And imagine what City looks like with
Yep.
Maguire leading the back of the line. Like this is just how the game
With
goes.
young players.
Yep.
Yeah, but Maguire was a young player when we were looking at.
Yeah, no, dude, he was the most
Not
touted
all
after
young.
center back in
Not
England
that
at the
young.
time. No, so it is a
Oh.
game of hits
Bro,
and
we
misses.
signed a
but
15-year-old like 2 months ago, bro. Like I
See, that's the thing. It's frustrating when you completely
10
miss
million.
in the bigger windows and then randomly will sign some unheard name or some football manager wonder kid name that isn't going to be ready for the next 5 years. Like that's where the frustration comes in. If
Yeah.
you were buying both and the young wonder kids were a part of the transfer thing, not the entire transfer strategy, then they have like kudos to them. I think there's something working there. But to completely ignore the experience,
first team.
the first team, I mean,
ignoring
they're
the
not
first team.
ignoring the first team. They're shoving these players in the first team. And
It's like, where it's more important to
you're
flip
throwing
That's
them in the deep
priority.
end without any
priority.
flotation device. The flotation
Yep.
device is the older, experienced players that can help you.
Tosin, Chalobah.
Exactly. Like he is experienced, but that's not the guy you want starting. If he was just a locker room member, he'd be a great person to have in your team.
Yes.
Occasionally
Yes.
getting minutes, maybe almost like an Ake role. Obviously,
He was
Ake's
great last year.
better. Exactly. But when you put responsibility on those types of players, this is just the result of them trying to cheap out. You didn't want to go buy a quality, experienced player, and you went and got Tosin, who can do a job for you. But if you ask him to be that quality player, is not going to work out for you.
I mean, I think
And
the
that has
perfect
happened
example-
over and over again for you guys, I think.
Yeah, perfect example. I think that sums us up. Like we have a pre-transfer for Omega in the summer, who's Strasbourg's captain, of course, the multi-club ownership. We didn't even talk about that, but obviously getting Rosinha from over there, Mamadou Sarr, their vice captain. But their other striker, who was supposed to be his backup, is the top scorer in the league. They can't even buy their own players right. Or like it's crazy because there was no need to pre-agree a transfer for a striker in January. Or I think they did it before January, in like November. There was no need to do that when you just bought 2 strikers and have a third one still on the books on loan and a fourth one from Barca's academy recalled, but you still went ahead and did that. He has started 4 games, has been hurt all year, and his replacement is the top scorer in Ligue 1. So I think that sums them up perfectly. They just have zero clue or regard to what's going on in the first team and are a lot more prioritized and worried about how are we going to be able to recoup value.
Which is crazy
that's
because you guys
100% the
had
priority.
didn't you guys have like a $400 million loss? Like I think the book,
476, not including the selling shit to ourselves.
so yeah, to say that it's a business model and everything is
businessmen.
business based,
They're
and then
great.
you're in the net negative is pretty fucking crazy.
Well,
We
the
didn't say they
business,
were
the
good.
business talk, the business talk in reality is just their ability to find these loopholes and be able to find ways to maneuver it and spend the most, whatever, and
Yep.
keep a sustainable model. So I think their approach was, okay, so there's these XYZ loopholes. We are going to blast them with money. They're going to get shut up. And then at that point, we're done. They probably knew there would be a ban to some extent or some sort of restrictions on what they were doing. And then from that point, okay, well, we have enough assets to survive. That's
Yeah.
what it's seeming like to me in hindsight, what the whole approach was. And damn it, was I wrong?
To essentially
Was I so
legally
wrong?
essentially to legally cheat the system and
Facundo
to
would
get
love
it
to hear
this
that.
wrong is crazy. And I honestly, I just have no more energy to talk Chelsea.
Yeah, bro, that was the most energy you'll see from me with them for probably the rest of the season, bro. These guys
Fair.
pissed me off, man.
Fair enough. At least you get a break. We all get a break. And that should... Psych. We're going long. I don't even care. We're getting the extra time off. Transfer roulette. We're going to start doing games since this international break is the last one, and we have nothing to talk about next week. But also, we are going to be in Europe for one of our pods, so it'll probably be a pod of games and stuff. So be on the lookout for that. But the first game that we're going to do is a transfer roulette. So we all have a player that we wanted to bring to the table. We're going to limit it to the top 6 clubs currently, so no Spurs, but Villa and then the rest of the traditional 5. We're going to say what team we think this player should go to. We'll try to get to a group consensus, but not maybe. Do we want to structure it on the idea of like maybe the best fit?
I was
Say realistically.
I was throwing up a prayer with mine. So,
well, let's start with yours. Who's the player that you're bringing to the roulette?
The guy that just roofed one against us. I would love us to sign him. I did it on FIFA and it worked. So obviously it's going to work. No, but in all seriousness, I think when his name was first mentioned on this pod, I did not know who he was, and I looked at his foot mob real quick, and I think he had 4 goals in 48 games. So I said something along the lines of like, "Oh, perfect for Everton." Dude, this dude. I mean, he was playing on the right to start the year because Grealish came in, and off either side, it does not matter. He's so dangerous, and there is end product with him. And to be frank, I really do just enjoy watching him, and in the way the game is played today, I feel like you're kind of getting that level or category of player, if you will, you're seeing less and less of. And not only does he have that side of the game where I just do enjoy watching it and the way he's playing, I think it's a perfect fit. And we desperately need a player like that on our left wing. We need a player who we can play week in, week out. And the reason I said I was throwing up a prayer is because I have no doubt in my mind that it will not be him. And to be fair, another guy I've been pretty high on with Morgan Rogers. I think they end up signing him. He's been less convincing, and he's definitely better through the middle than as a left winger, if you will. And I just like that aspect of Njai's game. He could probably play in the 10 too. So to have that sort of versatile attacker can play on either side, I think that'd be a great signing.
Yeah, talking about a player that fits that Mbumo, Semenyo, Cunha, like that style of transfer, like that's a proven commodity in the league that is coming off a very good season and has gotten better every year that he's played in the league. That's Njai. And from a left wing standpoint, like the only team that I'm going to like rule out would probably be City.
We're not getting him. There's no need to get him.
Yeah, that was my thought. So in terms of the other 5, like all of them have
change Arsenal.
I have worries about his ability to perform in a higher reputation team that's going to see low blocks a little bit more. You're not running into space. You're running into a wall. And that his best qualities become a little bit harder to capitalize on. But yeah, I know Grant's been... I think you've talked about him for like a month.
I do understand that I think he's that level of player, to be honest. I think he has that capability to tight control. I definitely think he's capable. I mean, I think there was, I forgot which team he scored it against, but it was like off of a throw in and he just by 3 people, like out of nothing. Mm-hmm. I think he's that type of player that can give you inspiration when you're looking for something. And it kind of given the state or the genre of wingers that we have, I'm cool off that. I'm good. I do not need to see these road runners playing out wide, especially with obviously our last manager, but even in some of our good periods under Rosignor, a lot of chances just get funneled out wide. 1v1, like even against these low blocks, right? It's just 10 men sitting back. It's a 1v1 with your winger, and it's a Garnacho, it's Neto. A player like Estevao who will just go attack them, right? Like Njai's of that ilk where he will just keep going at his player for the opportunity presents itself. Mm-hmm. And he's nice.
He is nice. I think that it would be a home run signing for. I think Villa are also out of the picture just money wise.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to rule out Liverpool because no Everton player goes to Liverpool.
Rio's pathway.
That works. So I honestly think that of the three big teams, like it will be an Arsenal, United, Chelsea run-in, and the question just becomes, he's 26, so do you have to just automatically rule out Chelsea?
Yeah, probably.
And then does Arteta
He
clear?
might not even leave after a year. He might stay. He might go abroad. But
Look, at United, I would 100% take him. I think it fits into their entire transfer strategy. I know that they're pretty high on that kid from Leipzig.
Diamande.
Yeah.
I'm very high on him too. I've also someone put a Gittins comp and was like, forget everything you've seen since he's gotten to the club. And you're like, yeah, I kind of understand that. Like, we have a very similar ilk of player where it's like, hey, maybe we should try the one we just spent fucking 55 and 5 on. So, but yeah, no, he would definitely have an impact at a top club. I definitely would concede that.
I think that the perfect fit for him is United because that spot is just his. Like the left winger, we've talked about it. That position is made for him currently. If it's whether it's Carrick or any other manager, like you've just kind of, I could see that working, and especially because United, regardless of who comes in, I still think will play transitional. Like I just don't. It's not United DNA to be this crazy possession team, and Njai just fits that mold. It is literally Cunha and Bumo, and then like Njai. That just makes sense from if that's the transfer strategy that they're pushing. Especially with getting back into all comps, like that's a huge push. If you're like rotation out on the left would be some mix of Cunha, Dorgu, and Njai. Like that seems pretty good to me from a realistic standpoint. Now, whether or not United really play into this Leipzig thing, I don't know. But realistically, I think United have potentially the best shot to get him, unless it's Chelsea because they can just offer
attackers. So.
Well, they based off of the briefings, it sounds like the places that they're looking at are left wing, left back, and then the midfield.
Yeah, the way we're fucking running our club, yeah, I wouldn't blame a single player for leaving and for picking another team over us. So
yeah, that's a good player though because he's super fun. I think that he's just a great talent.
The Selly too.
Any team getting him is getting a player of real quality. It's just a question of, to Mila's point, like will he transition well? Which is that's a risk for any player that's taking that leap from a team that is sit back and counterattack and Moyes ball to.
Yeah, I am starting to have my doubts, but Morgan
there is
Rogers
some kudos sense to it.
My second one.
All right, so Mila, because I think mine's it's probably going to be the most controversial because I have to take a little bit of a route to get there. Who's your guy?
Asshole.
It's not I'm going to bring Bastoni back up only because I think he's perfect to go to Chelsea. But also, Fabrizio just tweeted that Inter want big money, and I don't see anyone but one of the top 6 in.
No, we just won't pay wages.
No, let me finish. It doesn't have to be you guys. I don't see anyone in European football, world football, paying big money for Bastoni that needs him, that wants him. So outside of the top 6 in the Premier League, whether that be a Liverpool, an Arsenal. I don't know why Arsenal would do it. I mean, I do, but. Chelsea, I know United aren't looking at him, but I don't think they know if the opportunity arose.
Yeah, if you could shop them.
Villa, I think that would be trajectory changing if they were able to get their hands on him, but it's not likely to me.
I don't know if they have the cash.
City's the only team that I think is probably not. He's not on the radar whatsoever.
Because you just got Gahey.
We just got Gahey. We have Raish coming back. Like I think the center back position is pretty much taken care of for us, and we will be looking elsewhere. But he's been one of the best. The thing with him is he's one of the best in the world and usually available. Like it's not that he's off limits from Inter. They're never saying he cannot leave. It's just pay the right price and he can leave. So of all the top center backs, he is the one that's available or the most available and the most skilled. Yeah. And I think it's coming. Like Liverpool need a center back. Arsenal might need a center back if one of their 2 like talisman leave. I'm not even kidding on that one. Like if Saliba or Gabriel leave, they need a center back. I don't think they're gonna trust those other guys. They're already looking at you're muted.
You're muted.
And 2, they're already looking at Castello Luqueba, which I think
I was saying, can he also play left back? Because that's a very important requirement for all center backs.
Yeah, I think there's maybe 3 out of the top 6 that are probably got an eye on him. 2 out of that top 6 that might actually pull the trigger.
Yeah, we won't
Yeah.
pay superstar wages. We won't do it.
You won't do it. I'm gonna axe out United
If you get
because
rid of
I don't think they're gonna
Fofana, you
spend
can
the
do it
money.
though.
That's true, but that's not their project, Mila.
Fofana's picking up his wages. Right
You're
there.
not wrong. Fofana was pre this whole project,
This
so
is
they're
the-
not going to do it. I
This
don't
is
believe
the
they
sticker
will do
twist
it.
thing. Yeah, I don't either. I have
They've
to write Chelsea off for
publicly
that
put out
reason, too.
briefs saying they will stick to it, dude.
They shouldn't have
Idiots,
bought
but-
Chelsea then. Like, why did you
Agreed.
buy a good team that expects?
No,
Agreed.
this is great. This is why there's protests because it
Agreed.
doesn't make any sense.
We will be there. Yeah, no, Bastoni would be class. My only hesitation is that Colwell's also left-footed. He's your only other competent center back. I have no right to complain right now. Like you said, in terms of who was available or able to be gotten, whatever you want to call it, clear cut. He's top class. So I would be very open, but not gonna happen.
Part of the reason that I want Liverpool not to get Champions League is I think that's one of the only things that would deter them from spending big money on that position, right? If you're looking at a successor for Liverpool, like, and that being Van Dijk, like Bastoni's the perfect fit. Realistically, they would be not shy to spend that money. The two big questions is who's the manager, right? I'm assuming C.O.C gets sacked, and
Chappy
do you make
Alonso.
UCL? Because those are the two big questions. Because I don't think he goes to a team that doesn't have UCL, right? So if they are the team that swaps with Chelsea and don't get in, then I think that he's Barca bound. Like if I had to make a guess right now on Bastoni, I think that he doesn't come to the Prem.
They don't
I
have
don't
any-
think he comes to
Tweet
the
from
Prem.
Fabrizio basically just said that he's not going to Barca. They want big money, but that's the opposite of Barcelona.
So
No, you know what? Bastoni. Go ahead.
Is the I don't know any of the news on him, to be honest. I don't keep up with Italian football. Is he leaving for contractual reasons? He wants a new challenge because an
He
Italian
doesn't
leaving
wanna leave,
Inter
I don't think.
is
I don't think he
very
wants to leave.
strange.
It's
Like
just-
I think that this feels like a
Played a
contract
lot.
negotiating thing. If I'm being
Maybe.
honest with
Can
you,
be.
but if I had to pick one team, it's Liverpool. It feels like it's the most available.
I think they get
Yeah.
Van de Ven though. I think they sign Van de Ven. I feel like
Oh,
that's been
please
whispered.
sign
I
Van de
think
Ven.
that's been talked about and rumbled for a long time.
That would be
Obviously, he's
great.
also Dutch, but
Yeah.
I think
Eh.
his dad, who's his agent and has a big mouth, has mentioned that before. So I think that might be on the cards.
That's another player that just it works for every team that's available, minus City. But I just don't know if it's within the cards for a lot of the teams. Like I'd love him at United. I think that's a perfect player to just kind of.
He's phenomenal.
But like
into
realistically,
any
there's
team.
so much. There's the midfield is going to cost so much money. I don't think you're going to have a 67
Expenditure for it,
million. Yeah, but anywhere but Liverpool would be great in my opinion. I'm cool. I'm cool. I hate talking about them. Okay,
I've heard.
You guys ready for mine?
Let me sit down.
So there's a player who I think it would take a couple things because he's potentially going to renew his contract. But he's one of the best strikers in the game. He's one of the best English strikers to ever play the sport. If Bayern go and win a UCL this season, the only thing that Harry Kane will not have checked off is the Premier League goal scoring record. And it's been talked about that eventually he would like to make the move back. I think he's 32, 33 right now. Let's say Bayern go and win the UCL. And he says to them, look, I came here to win trophies. I've won the most important trophy I can win. I'd like to go back to England because I want to break Shearer's record. He's like 48 goals off. So that would put him in a spot where he'd play for the next 2-3 seasons and could potentially break it. Of the top 6 teams, now, because especially now with removing Spurs, potentially them getting relegated, because like that would be the team you just would go back to. Who in the top 6 could go? Who would you peg to go get Harry Kane? Because like in a perfect world, it's Chelsea, right? Like because Chelsea have that void of like a strike, like that.
Oh yeah, I would have
proper
taken him.
talked
I would have
about.
taken him for years. Yeah. Before he left, I was like, if we bought him, I would not be upset.
He first leaved it was United. Like, would United potentially pair him with the Sesko? Like, could you see a world where Holland and Kane play together at City? Like, it's a crazy concept, like, to just plug and play, like, probably a top 3 striker of the last 20 years. He's probably you can make the argument he's the best English striker ever. And like that, so realistically, where is the move if Harry Kane comes back to the Prem?
I don't see him going anywhere other than Tottenham, but that's hard to say right now.
I'm saying Tottenham get relegated. He's not going to the Championship.
Of course not. No.
So what team would he go back to?
I don't think we sign him. I just don't think that happens in this situation. I still don't think we would change our strategy. So I'm just going to chalk us off. Liverpool just spent 800 gazillion billion on strikers, so that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Villa have $10 right now. So what? No, we already ruled out Liverpool. Either Manchester team or Arsenal. He obviously isn't going Arsenal.
I mean,
he's going to Manchester, and
look.
I see that you can see it, Mila. There's no. I just can't picture it happening. It would. I just can't rationalize it. So I guess he's going United.
We just talked about how Pep's a fucking freak for like 25 minutes, and this was the one that got away. And you don't think there's a chance at all if he's going to come back to England that we're going to look at it?
Oh, we just play him in the 10, dude.
I think that if he became available and he was like, I want to come back to the Prem, and obviously Spurs aren't there, the Manchester clubs would have a fucking war. It would be a war of attrition. Like it would be like there would be some crazy hit pieces. Like some people would probably die to get Harry Kane. Those two teams getting that level of superstar, English superstar, they would almost chalk it off as like the money just makes sense. Like the Mount signing for United, like that, but an actual good player. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it would be cool to see him play with either of the teams because you either put him next to Holland or you're putting him next to Sesko. And like, that's both are kind of these weird fits. Like, could you play two strikers? Would they just play alone? Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously at City, it would be a two striker system at some point. Or like, how would it fit? Like, I love Harry Kane. I think he's a phenomenal footballer. And like the idea of him coming back and breaking that record, because he would have already broken it if he had just stayed.
Yeah,
but his career wouldn't be. We wouldn't be able to talk about him in this light if he had stayed at Spurs.
Had to be done.
It had to be done for himself. And I think that,
I mean, you're seeing the goals he's scoring. There's obviously the Bundesliga tax, if you will, but some of the goals this guy's scoring are ridiculous. So it is for the sake PR, his career, whatever you want to say. Like he did have to make this move to show, like yes, to shut up any doubt. Like yes, of course he is capable of doing this for a winning side. But yeah, I think at some point. I don't think it's this year. None of us know anything, but I can definitely see him coming back while still being a good level player to try and get that record for sure.
The realistic thing is that the reports are true. He re-ups with Bayern because that's a great situation for him too. Like he's just shredding and his numbers
just
are
man over there.
He's winning trophies. He seems to really enjoy it. But as the storybook and all of the stuff, it feels poetic that he would come back to England.
What if he just drags it for like 5 years from like 37 to 42 just to get the record and it's just ugly like that?
See, that's the other thing. It's like I want him to break it and be just a fantastic player when he's doing it. Like I don't want it to be where he's playing 5 years in the league.
Some asterisk. Yeah.
It happens
no, I want it to be true.
Guys in baseball hang on a long time to get those cumulative records and it gets ugly where it's like, all right, brother, it's
just for the obviously we're going to split it down the middle here because I think we'd want him at both of our clubs. You'll be the deciding factor of who he goes to.
He's United. I think he'll go United because
I mean I probably would say United too. I just don't think we would roll over and we don't.
No, we're just gonna let you guys have kids.
I have Holland, dude. You sorted, mate. Like
no.
At the end of the day, like push comes to shove, it's like, oh, we do have Holland.
Oh no!
Darn.
So I think that's fine. Sheshko, Leipzig.
Whereas like you guys would be desperate for it. Like that's an improvement upon.
Well, Kane at that stage in his career, I can totally see him being more or less of a 10, where he gets in those deeper positions. You know what I mean? So like,
it's a Van
Bruno
Persie
would be gone in this situation to me.
Just imagine Kane floating off of a Holland target man set.
It's so cool. That's that RVP style of move. Like,
dude, imagine him lifting the Conference League though.
Whoa.
Let's not rule that out. let's come back.
I do have an honorable mention.
Let's hear it.
Then. On the topic of Tottenham, Archie Gray.
Oh,
good player.
I think every one of the top 6 teams outside of Arsenal has a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
I really
our-
like
that's
that
our-
story.
that's
because
our
I think
wheelhouse.
He's got some leads, a lot of leads in him.
He does
So,
have a lot of leads in him.
yeah,
I would. That's like one of the only players
He's
I would
played
take if they
fullback
got
before.
relegated.
That's
that's the
a
thing
steady
is like
player.
he's probably
Yeah.
gonna get a move if they get relegated.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of is it going to be in the Prem, and if it's in the Prem, it'll probably be a top 16.
Not have him.
I
Very
was
good.
gonna say Chelsea makes a lot of sense.
That's our wheelhouse. 21 years old, 40 million.
Available too. Like he's not a guy that's
Backup
been injured.
Or
He
we
can
should.
be sold in 2 years for a 20%.
No,
rate.
I think the
Great.
Chelsea shot is perfect though,
Yeah.
because he does give you a bit of backup for if Reece needs a rest. He gives a backup if Caicedo needs a rest, or he could just play with alongside those
Yeah.
guys in the team. That's probably my favorite thing about him is just how versatile he is as a player, and I think we've seen him play at least like 4 positions already.
Bro, he's finally. I've never seen him really play midfield until Tudor.
Yeah.
He barely
that
gets a run
sucks.
his desired
And
position,
that's
and
the
he's
result
looked
of
very
choosing
good.
Tottenham. That's what you get for
Agreed.
going to Tottenham.
Agreed.
Yeah, that was a
But
mistake.
sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Fair, yeah. I mean, Gallagher did it again. I'm not even mad at him. Shit, 200K. I'd have signed it too.
I'm sure. All right, well, that'll wrap it up. That was good. That was a good little segment. I enjoyed that because I think that all those players minus Kane are going to get a move. But yeah, we'll end it there. I didn't expect this one to go an hour and 25 or hour 30, whatever we're going to.
Always does, King.
Yeah, so that's on me. That's my mistake. But we've hit the international break, so I'm gonna have some USMNT content coming out at some point this week. If you are a US fan or you're, interested in the US heading into this World Cup, Mila, you want to plug Cosmos real quick?
Might as well. Clash of Cosmos, LA Galaxy coverage. We are in the fucking mud right now, but we are entertaining and we are content. So check us out.
Yeah, and like every week, you can find the stuff that we do, including Grant here on the channel. We post the clips, so if you prefer to watch us in digest or you want to see us be idiots again for a second time this week, you can always check those out. But anyways, thank you to the 383 currently subscribed. If you're not already and you for whatever reason made it through an hour and 26 and you're not, I don't really know what you're doing. So go ahead
You're
and
on
sub.
a list.
You might be, or you just really hate us.
Respect.
That's an hour and 30-minute hate
No,
watch.
that's-
It's almost a
that's-
full full.
I would absolutely respect that. That's probably Facundo, to be honest. So yeah,
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, let's end it there then. I don't even know how to end him anymore. That's Grant. That's Mila. I'm Dylan. This has been Clash of Clubs, episode 91, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Words for him. Different gravy. Glorious goal! Wreathed in red. We're really seeing the most extraordinary finish here. On this day of days, has he delivered? Just magnificent! Potentially life-changing! That's football. Minute you let it under your skin, then you begin to make it better.